Today we're on Proverbs chapter 22, and I'd like to share verses 4 and 5, just the first part of verse 5. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. Right away we see a very strong contrast here between verse 4 where it says being humble and fearing God are riches and honor and life. And in verse 5, he who is froward, he who is disobedient and perverse, walks in his own ways, there are thorns and snares in his way, in his path. Starting with verse 4, when we are humble and we see that we're really not that smart and we're not that strong and we do make mistakes and we're not in control of a lot of the things that happen to us every day, it should make us fear God. It should make us want to get right with the one who is in control, with the one who does provide strength and wisdom. And the only way to do that, to get right with God, is through Christ on the cross. There is no other way to be forgiven and for God to remain a just, righteous judge. There is no other way. And when we do put our faith in Christ, the Bible tells us in Ephesians 1 verse 5 that God the Father adopts us through Jesus Christ. And when we become born again, when we become children of God, God will provide for us. I like what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 7 verses 9 through 11. Or what man is there of you whom if his son ask bread will give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? If we, being sinners, being selfish, evil people, know how to provide for children, how much more will the God who loves us so much that he gave his only Son to die for sinners provide for his children? It's a no-brainer. Let's go to verse 5. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. Basically, people who are froward, people who are disobedient to God, who are perverse in their ways, living for themselves. They're walking down the daily path and they keep getting stuck on thorns and snares keep holding them up, that they keep getting set back. Troubles just keep coming up. And the book of Haggai in chapter 1, I'm paraphrasing here, basically tells us how the children of God were supposed to come back and build God's temple and finish building God's temple, but they came back and they were building their own houses, doing their own thing, walking in their own ways. And in verse 5, God tells them, consider your ways, like think about what you're doing and what's going on. And in verse 6 he goes on to tell them, you're planting your fields but the crop's just not coming, you're eating but you're not full, you're drinking but you're still thirsty, you're clothing yourselves but you're just not warm, and you're making money but it's as if you're putting it into a bag with holes in it. And the same thing goes on this day. People just can't save their money, that things just keep coming up, and we think just because we know where our money's going and what's happening, the car broke down and the washer and then this and that God's not in it. Just because we know directly what's happening, it doesn't mean that God doesn't have a hand in it or God's not trying to tell us something. But we don't really think about why our stuff's breaking down or why things just aren't going right. And the bottom line is we need to get right with God. The biggest thing here is people that aren't right with God don't know any better. They don't know that there is a better way. They think that these thorns and snares are normal. They're not born again, so they can't compare their past life to their present life. And this is why the biggest thing is to share your testimony, share what God has done for you, share Christ. And because most of us have experienced those thorns and snares, and we've experienced this peace, this new life of God providing for us. And are you born again? Are you right with the one who is in control, with the one who does provide? Um, if you're not, you need to get right with him through Christ, and God can clear your path of these thorns and snares. Thanks.